Mike Conley coming over to the Jazz last season from Memphis. Really picked it up the last 19 games. Nurkic, backdoor cut to CJ. Great way to start the season.
He was throwing that ball over the top to a lob to the guy who had the most dunks in the league last season in Gobert. That time the Blazers show a zone look, and Mike Conley
in the preseason. CJ with O'Neal defending, tries an early three and
C2 from the three-point line.
Bogdanovich, patient in the paint.
Although it was only a few games, he took more attempts at 3 attempts a game, not including that fourth game that he got hurt in and had to leave the game. Oh, easy dunk.
Covington off to the races. CJ on the wing, spots up in the corner, and CJ. Conley working against Nurkic, tries to get into the body. Gobert is there to clean it up.
Great look again from Nurk.
Clarkson, corner three. Roll. Cantor, such a knack for the basketball. Derrick Jones Jr. tries to dislodge it. Mitchell, open three. Makes the Blazers pay. With the board.
But the fact that a mellow pump fake to Derrick Jones Jr. got the defense to bite and react is a positive sign for the Blazers.
Cantor working against Favors in the post. Cantor spins baseline. Nice touch by Cantor.
Yeah, tough.
Blazers just 8 of 22 from the field. 12 to shoot. Ingles back to Gobert. Gobert tries to go up with the left. Bounces in. Looking for some potential backup. Dame gets to the paint. Gary Trent Jr. in the corner. Count it. CJ, thoughts of challenging Gobert? Bounce pass to Gary Trent Jr. with the finger roll. Blazers with 9 assists. Cut the lead to 5. Clarkson. Tough three.
Not much has changed for the Jazz. Their core group is all back. They already know how they want to play on both ends of the floor. The Blazers are the ones figuring it out.
Blazers with Covington, CJ, Anthony, Gary Trent Jr. and Cantor. 12 to shoot. Ingles thought about it. Pulls the trigger.
The release. Mitchell just athletic enough and skilled enough to get that ball over the top of him.
Bogdanovich from Mitchell.
There, and who was supposed to do this? And that's going to be part of some of the growing pains.
Covington finds Nurkic. Working against Mitchell. Covington back over to Nurkic.
Look how Donovan Mitchell's playing Dame. So Nurk really aggressive right there on that high post entry.
First foul for Nurkic. Ingles able to find Mitchell for the...
That was a smart play from Joe Ingles. He's seen Nurk make that pass from the top of the key in enough times. He read it. And once again, Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell brings it down. Mitchell harassed by Nurkic. Gobert is there to finish it with the flush. Look at Nurkic. Dame with 12 to shoot. Goes into Gobert. Layup is good.
It took time to get over that. We ain't trying to hear about that again.
I won't bring up the history no more. The three is
46% of his made baskets last season were dunks. So Dame will continue to realize that about him. But in the meantime, slicing and dicing for the 2.
Bogdanovich, this 4-3, such a big piece the Jazz were missing in the bubble. CJ, pull-up jumper, count it. Nice. Number 3s, as far as third options in the league. Gobert.
Because as sometimes you do need to point the fingers in practice and film session and figure out whose fault is it. Why did Gobert get that dunk? And those are things you need to talk about. Does it? But you don't get the 2, and those kind of plays can be deflating when you're trying to make a comeback.
Dame knifes through the lane for the lay-in. Melo, nice feed, tries to finish. Tough bucket through Favors. A lot of contact. Favors with the putback, and for Utah, they made those changes to bolster their offense. And during that 13-11 run, as Dame wants a deep 3, and there with Utah, just 24th in offensive efficiency, so those changes were paying off during that 31-17 stretch. 3rd in the league as Favors with another bucket. Training camp was cut short. You don't have as many preseason games. Gary Trent Jr. to Cantor. Cantor has been delightful down low tonight, and another. Gary Trent Jr. trying to face guard Ingles. Ingles flips it over to Favors. Favors with 6 straight points for Utah. Rodney Hood checks back in for the Blazers. Melo, baseline jumper. Pat. Melo with 7 points. Hood defending Ingles. Cantor retreats. Gobert, easy finish.
It is that happened where the breakdown was, and then you got to attack that stuff. It's really got to become a priority as Mike Conley knocks down a 3.
Blazers with CJ, Carmelo Anthony, Gary Trent Jr., Enes Kanter, and Rodney Hood. Baseline jumper from Melo.
If you switch things up to go to him, because Melo can be very good in isolation, as we've seen as Clarkson with a blow-by.
Clarkson flips it to Gobert. Conley in the corner. He'll size up a 3. Kanter, short corner, 6 to shoot. Kanter goes back in time with the hook shot.
Oh, went through the contact too, catching up to do.
Gary Trent Jr. Oh, botches the lay-in, unfortunately. Blazers fight for the loose ball. CJ there to clean it. CJ to get the rebound. CJ running back up point guard duties. He'll try the 3. Knocks that one down. Off the Jazz, starting to miss more frequently from outside. Rodney Hood races it down against his former team. Gary Trent Jr. Bang, bang. Ingles trying to work it against Melo. 10 to shoot for Utah. Melo trying to stay in front of Ingles.
Go Ingles in the basket.
Goes good for the Jazz. Mitchell tries to tee up a 3. Donovan Mitchell. Stop the game, clean up the floor. Melo wants to go against Bogdanovich. Melo with the quick spin. That fight, and most importantly, that execution at the beginning of the 4th quarter.
Yeah, the Jazz right now, better team than the Blazers. They have things figured out.
Over to Blevins. Gary Trent Jr., no hesitation. Knocks down another 3.
Jr. for 3.
The Jazz save with less than a minute left. Azubuike sneaks behind the defense and throws it down.
Beating Ennis down the floor. Being the first person off the ground. First of many.
And Nuggets for Rip City on that as well. That'll do it. Utah gets